do so. So my name is Dawn McKee. I am the Artistic Ambassador with Surface Hair Care, and I'm excited today to share with you our Curls pop-up shop. So today is everything all about curls. So what we're going to learn about today will be a beautiful natural ingredients with penetrating oils that allow us to have our curls line. It's easy to work with as it's perfect for embracing curls, whether you like to wear it curly or you like to smooth it. Long-lasting frizz control, touchable curls, in-salon treatment, bake, repair, hydrate, strengthen, and protect. Healthy as it's completely free of any silicones or plastics. And today what we're going to learn about is understanding a curl and texture. Where does it come from? The frizz. And we're going to learn about curls product knowledge. I'll take you through a treatment curls bake, and I will also share with you the basic principles of caring for curls, cutting and finishing. We'll talk about a curls night out event, and we'll talk about some education for advancement as well as for future things coming up. So first things first, what exactly is frizz and how does it happen? Where does it come from? Frizz is when we get breakage or dull curls are the result of stress that happens on the hair's structural bonds, which results in moisture and color loss. The curlier the hair, the more natural stress the structural hair bonds have. So when you take a look at your curl pattern, anywhere where the hair bends is where that cortex and cuticle pull away from each other, which is where we see the most frizz. So the more curl, the tighter the curl, the more you're going to see that frizz. The hair follicle shape is determined, hair texture is determined by the shape of the follicle. So if the hair is straight, you're going to see a very round follicle. As it becomes wavy, it becomes more oval, oblong as it gets to be curly, and even almost flat when it's spiral, coiled, or curly, kinky. When we take a look at the bonds that are in straight hair, they run horizontal. So there's no stress usually that happens on that connection of the cortex and cuticle. When we have curly hair, as I shared, anywhere where the hair bends is where that cortex and cuticle start to pull away, which then creates frizz and damage. It's a stress point that's moisture and color loss, creating frizz or dull looking curls. Surface curls structural bond is strengthened, cuticle bound to the cortex, and this happens whether it's curly or straightened. We provide moisture with babassu oil, amaranth for flexible strength, cocoa butter for strengthening structural bonds, and sugarcane proteins, which are considered to be glycoproteins that bond the cortex and cuticle back together. The tourmaline that we use locks that in place. Moringa is an antioxidant, which gives us clarity and shine, giving us beautiful, shiny curls as well. So the 5 necessities that are for beautiful, healthy curls that we need is first elasticity. Elasticity is important whether you want to pull that hair straight or if you want to wear it curly and need that bounce. Cocoa butter is rich in vitamin K and magnesium, which strengthens the hair's elasticity and allows curls to maintain their style. Specifically, the vitamin K is what strengthens the structural bonds. Hydration, you're going to see 2 here, hydration and moisture, and they are 2 different things. So when we take a look at hydration, we're adding moisture. Babassu oil is what provides weightless penetration of cocoa butter, which is a heavy oil all by itself. So we use that babassu oil to help melt it and to help it penetrate into the hair. Cocoa butter is rich in omega-3 and 6 fatty acids, which moisturize the cortex and the cuticle. When we moisturize, again, a different process, emollients lock in the moisture, reducing frizz all day long. Babassu oil and cocoa butter combined with antioxidants and naturally derived the shampoo soluble emollient cones. Surface natural derived cones from sea salt and quartz. They lock moisture into the hair and are 100% water soluble. Surface cones are not to be confused with non-water soluble cones. Cones can vary in size and with the first syllable of the name reflecting the size of the molecule. Example, dimethicone is a larger molecule while that's a big one, you can see it, a smaller molecule. Various sizes are essential for supporting moisture at all depths of the hair and to provide long-term benefit to curls that they're shampoo soluble. We also need good strength with curls. If you've ever seen a curl that becomes very limp, as it's tight at the top and then all of a sudden it loops really big at the bottom, chances are it's missing protein linkages. And when we add protein to that hair, it will actually repair it and help it to coil back up. And I've seen this firsthand anytime I've used our One Shot or our Repair Tonic. But also my very first experience was way back 10 years ago at a hair show, and Wayne was sharing with me this very process, and we had a model who had this beautiful tightly coiled hair, but at the bottom, the last few inches, maybe 4 inches or so, was very loopy and there wasn't a lot of good curl left to it. So when he sprinkled the One Shot on it, you could actually see that curl coil back up. And very much when that happens, it's the protein that is helping to link that other hair protein back together. So amaranth protein provides a flexible strength to curls, which supports style, longevity, and anti-frizz. It's important to note that Surface has developed this amaranth as a flexible protein that moves with the hair and does not harden on the hair, which can dry the hair out over time. It is recommended that traditional keratin protein not be used on curly hair. And for that, we are very proud of that flexible protein that we can use within the hair so that the hair bends and moves with it. When we style the hair, glycoproteins are derived from sugar interlocking into the cortex and cuticle to provide styling, hold, and curl control. Heat styling is now good for curls as tourmaline can lock the glycoproteins into the hair, reducing frizz and adding style longevity. So don't use plastic or polyvinyl propylene vinyl acrylic based stylers on curly hair. It can be very hard on the hair, and that's one of the reasons why we work completely free of any plastics. So what is it? What is curls? It's a hair care and styling products for curly and textured hair. We've learned that almost 74% of the world's population has some form of curl or texture in their hair. So curls can be used on a lot of different people. What it does is moisturizes, defines, eliminates frizz, and increases the hair's elasticity. How it works is babasu oil that carries cocoa butter deep into the hair, strengthening the curl bonds while moisturizing. Glycoproteins eliminate frizz and they increase elasticity. So who's it for? Curly and textured hair that needs moisture, control, and definition. You can style it smooth or curly. The problem it solves is it defines or smooths curl, increases elasticity, moisturizes from the inside out, allowing us to work with healthy ingredients that are safe for use on curly hair. You can see when you go to our Facebook page or our Instagram page, you can find all sorts of great testimonials from people who are using Surface curls. And we love this. If you have a picture you want to share, a before and an after, or an after picture that you're proud of, please hashtag them and send them our way. We love to share them as well. So be creative, bring them along, and share and hashtag. The curls system consists of shampoo, conditioner, mask, Curls Whip Mousse, Curl Serum, the Cream to Wax, as well as a frizz-free spray gel, firm mousse, smoothing cream, and a finishing spray. And we're going to talk a little bit about each one. Before I go too much farther, though, I do want to stop and see if there are any questions. We do have the box set available, and Curls has been featured as an editor's choice in both Women's Health Magazine, InStyle Magazine, many, many more for a favorite in Curls. Before I go any farther, I do want to check and see if there's any questions at all. If you have one, go ahead and either pop it in the chat box or go ahead and unmute yourself and ask away. Nothing? All right, well, we'll keep moving. I'll just put this back. So the first thing that is on our list is the shampoo and conditioner, and this is perfect for moisturizing, detangling, softening, adding shine, protecting color. So as all of our surface products have anything from conditioners, shampoos, styling products, everything. This is all going to have that color extension to it, color protection, and I always say extension because it's going to extend the life of your color. Hold on one second. I am going to go ahead and see what was in our chat box just to address it. Love the repair tonic in one shot for my longer hair curly guests. Did you say there was a difference in proteins that are good for curly hair? Yes. So when we're talking about curly proteins that we use on curly hair, we're using proteins that are flexible and they are completely wheat or gluten-free. Wheat and gluten proteins over time can become very dry and brittle, as well as they are not a flexible protein. And when you have proteins within curly hair, they need to be flexible so that they move with the hair as the hair bends and moves. Protein on its own is never meant to bend at a 90-degree angle. So when we have curly hair, if we're using proteins that are not flexible, over time they can be very brittle, dry, and eventually cause breakage or dullness to the hair. So here we're using a flexible protein, very unique, very different, but it moves with the hair and helps to keep that coiled shape. When we use our protein, it's also blended at different cationic weights, and they react cationic to covalent, so they bond into the hair. We use molecular weights of 200, 750, and 2000 so that we can repair every length of damage as well. All right, so as I shared, the first ones would be your Curls shampoo and conditioner. Now, the next one, and I'm going to share with you two because I want to show you the difference between our Curls Whip and our Curls Mousse. Now, the Curls Whip is actually a leave-in conditioner, which gets confused very often as a styling mousse. So you can see it's very foamy, more liquidy, very slippery when you work with it. And this is actually a leave-in conditioner. It provides tons of moisture, detangles the hair, helps to protect from frizz, gives natural control, protects from color. When we use this, some people will say that they get a light hold from it. And yes, it does, because what happens is it provides this sugar cast around the hair that will essentially control the hair. But it is designed as a leave-in conditioner. So you can see as it's been sitting here, it starts to come down into a more of a gel consistency. Now the Curls Mousse, as I use it, you can see it has much more meat to it, more substance. It's going to be more bouncy and more full. So this is going to be what I want to use for defining curl or for giving the hair full body. And we love it. Whether you want to go curly or straight with it, you can do either. Your Curls mask, which is part of the Curls bake, so I'll get into that a little bit more when we do our Curls bake. But the Curls bake or Curls mask is going to be your leave-in deep conditioner. This is going to be your weekly use at home. Some people may decide to use this every day, and that's okay too, but it's designed as a weekly treatment or a bake-in treatment that you can use. It's going to have moringa oil in it. It's going to have antioxidants in it. It's going to have much more moisture as well. Now the smoothing cream, again, as we're going into the styling products, can be used both going curly or straight. So it's more about what kind of curly hair do you have. My curls cream is going to be more like Spanx for hair. It's going to take the hair strand and it's going to make it skinny. It's going to work with more glycoproteins and more or less compress the hair to make it smaller. So when we go into the curls finishing hairspray, this is going to be more about memory. So when you take a look at the difference between memory and hold, memory is going to be when I take that curl and I squish it, and how much it bounces back is going to be how much memory that there is in that curl or that product. When I talk about hold, I'm spraying something to see how long it's going to stay in one place. So the hold on this is extremely light, but then we can also use it more as a memory spray. We do have some people who like to use this as a wet styling spray just before they're finished with their blow dry as well. And then we have others that will use it as a flat iron spray or as a finishing spray, and I'll share a little bit of that with you as we go on. Our curls serum we'll also see as part of our curls bake, and this has a great amount of glycoproteins in it as well. When you use it, it's a glossy serum that can be put in the hair wet or dry, and we use this one also to help tighten that cortex and cuticles so that it makes that hair smaller, as it has a lot of those glycoproteins in it. We then have our cream to wax. Cream to wax is one of my favorites. It's also one of my daughter's favorites. When my hair's longer, I can wear it wavy. I'll put some curl into it as well. But I love this for finer hair textures because for me, and for my daughter who's got tons of curl but also has very fine hair, her hair lacks a lot of moisture, as does mine. And this helps to keep the hair full, define it, but then it also helps to add moisture to it. So it's a light cream to wax. And when we use it, you'll start out as a light cream that turns into a very light wax. So then you can use it to define and help to contour your curls. And it's great as a second day as well. Now you have your frizz-free spray gel. Now this can be used either before when your hair is wet or during the drying process or part of his curls bake. It can be used to refresh the hair on day 2. So there's a lot of different ways that you can use the frizz-free spray gel. Set your curls, blow dry it smooth, use it alone or layer it. Adds shine, it's humidity resistant, and it's going to really eliminate frizz in your curls. So we've seen it flat, we've seen it worked with curls, but when you use this, you want to use it almost like you're layering another product on top of it. It's going to help those work better. So I'll use my Curl Whip mousse, I'll use my frizz-free spray gel, and if I want to layer some product over it, I'll then use my mousse, my curls cream, etc. And then I'll use it maybe about 75% of the way dry to help keep things even, to help, control anything that might be popping up a little bit during the process. So we make sure that we eliminate that frizz altogether. And on day 2, day 3, when I want to refresh it, I can go ahead and use that there as well. Now I'll share with you some of my other favorites that I like to use for curly hair as we go along. We do have a lot of great hair products that can be used for curly hair, like Taffy Whip or Awaken Mousse or Swirl, other things that can fall great into curly hair textures. This helps to put the hair in the right curly environment, and then we can always lend out a little bit. Say my guest has really fine hair and they want thicker, fuller hair, I can add in some of my Awaken products. If I want to get lots of volume from it, maybe their curls are the curls that are very fine hair, but So that curly frizzy is all the hair that they have, like my daughter. So when she uses curls and it puts everything in the right place, she loves the additional volume that comes from a jump mousse or some of the other swirl products or taffy whip or things like that that we can use as well. So be creative with it, but this will help put that hair in the right environment. So let's talk about our curls bake. So with our curls bake, you guys can see, I hope, how nice and frizzy on this side it is here. Very dry and kind of brittle feeling. On this side was already a curls bake that was done here. And even as I continue to touch it, the hair is very soft, it's flexible, and it's shiny. It looks defined, much different than the other side. Now to do a curls bake, we would do 2 lathers of our curl shampoo. We'll then use our mask, and you can use your serum if you need to, and we'll squeeze that in from the ends up into the root area. We then use our curls whip over top, squeezing in from the bottom up, and then if needed, we can use our frizz-free spray gel. So I'll show you all of the above. And just one of the amazing before and afters you can see here. Look at the curl, it looks defined, the color looks richer. It's just amazing how that changes. So I'm going to go ahead and stop my share here so you guys can see full screen, and we're going to go into our curls bake. So I've got my guests all ready. So make sure to tip anything else over this morning. There we go. And so we're going to go ahead. I have not combed any of this at all yet. So this has just been shampooed with 2 lathers of our curls shampoo. So that was where I started. Now, if you wanted to, you could do a first lather of Purify. Let's say this hair has some buildup on it. And buildup comes from anything, really. I mean, it could be plastics from other product if they're a new guest to you. It could also be some heavy waxes or oils that if they're a new guest to you, but it also may be even things like dust or chlorine or other hard water minerals, anything that may be living in the hair. So if you use Purify as a first lather, it would help to remove those elements, and then you would do your second lather with the curls shampoo. So before I even detangle this hair, what I want to do is I want to add in my curls, oops, drop everything, my curls mask. And now I have some options here too, just as a little hot tip. If you do have that curly hair that maybe is really nice and tight at the top and gets really coily at the bottom, I could add my one shot here. So that could be an additional option if that hair has weak curl living in it. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to take our curls mask, and we're going to squeeze about a nickel of mask at a time. I don't want to overdo, but I'll really emulsify it through my hands, and I'll start to squeeze in from the bottom up. And as I do this, you're going to start to see the hair start to detangle itself as well. So it works hard for you. And as I can even feel it, I still have plenty of mask on my hands, and that was just about a nickel size. So we're going to go ahead and just keep squeezing that right into the hair. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to apply the serum. Now this is an optional, especially if you have guests that really have extremely frizzy hair. They have a lot of hair that's very dry. This can be a great addition here. So we'll go ahead and just put about maybe 3 pumps of our curl serum. And again, we're always going to work from the ends up into the root area. So you always want to work from the bottom to the top. And notice I'm squeezing. I'll never take the towel and ruffle dry that hair. I always want to make sure I squeeze it from the ends up. So next thing will be our curls whip mousse. Now the curls whip is what's going to help provide a sugar cast to this hair. I used a nice golf ball size as well. And depending on how much hair you're working with, you might need a little bit more than that. You might need 1 golf ball per section. If it's the very first time they're getting a curls bake, you may need more than if they've had it multiple times, so you may adjust each time. So always start out small. You can always add from there. Now the next thing, that if we need to add more, if they really have a lot of frizz, we can go ahead and add in our frizz-free spray gel. And at this point, this will be the first time that I'm actually starting to detangle it. So I'm using my surface rake. We do also have available a wide tooth comb. This is a recycled straw fiber, so it's completely biodegradable. Both of these are dipped in tourmaline, so they help to work with the hair to help lock in that cortex and cuticle. And again, this is the very, very first time that I'm actually doing any kind of combing with my curls bake. Now, with this, at this point, if I don't need to add any additional things to it, or I don't add any styling product to it, I would probably go cut at this point. One of the things that you'll learn with cutting curls with us is that you want to be consistently wet or dry, depending on if you're going to cut the hair dry, cut it dry. If we're going to cut it wet, we want to make sure it stays wet throughout that haircut. So when I'm working with this at this point, if I'm doing a wet cut, I would do it before my haircut. It'll actually make things even easier. If I'm doing a dry cut, obviously I would do the haircut first, then I would take them to the bowl, and then I would work through my curls bake. Now, when we do have all of the product in, we would either then diffuse the hair 100% dry. You could also put them under a dryer and let them dry completely 100% dry. So again, we'll have her dry all the way through, and then we would go ahead at that point and squeeze through that curl and do what we call breaking the cast. So after it dries, it'll feel a little bit crispy to it. Then after that, we can go ahead and break through that cast just by squeezing it through. So I'll go ahead and open this up to any questions that there might be at this point. You know, there was a chat box somewhere. Let's see. Curls Whip is my favorite intro product for new curly guests. Love that. And love a curls bake. Good deal. All right, guys. So any questions that might have popped up at this point? No? Good review? If yes, put a Y in the chat box and let me know. I'm going to go ahead and take us back to our PowerPoint for a bit. Not sure where that went, but that's okay. There we go. So just to review, 2 lathers of your curls shampoo. Don't squeeze any excess water out. Please don't ruffle dry the hair, and don't comb it yet because there's no conditioner in that hair whatsoever. So we'll squeeze our mask into the hair. We'll then go ahead and work through our serum in one shot if we need to. We'll do our curls whip, and then we can start to detangle, and if needed, we'll use our frizz-free spray gel. Dry this into your curls, don't rinse it out. You will be absolutely amazed, and as you learn the perfect amount to use and start small, you'll see that you won't need to do any rinsing whatsoever. Here are some other great testimonials that we've received from doing curls bakes. Now, the one on the bottom or on the left hand side, I actually did that one, and this is a friend of mine up in Wisconsin, and you can just see how dry and dull and how light her curls actually look. And then when we did the curls bake, how it defined the curls, it's like on the left, her hair strand is exploded, and on the right hand, it's all contained and put back together. The curl looks more defined. The color looks more defined. You can see the blonde highlights as well as you can see the rich color. It's shiny, it's healthy, it's pretty amazing. So seeing is believing. If you haven't done one, grab a curly guest and try to do a curls bake with them. When we take a look at curl care, the most important things are going to be the shampoo, the conditioner, the Curl Whip leave-in conditioner, as this is going to create that system and that perfect environment for the curly hair. And then we can start choosing what kind of curl do we want to see. We would have our options here of using our serum, mask, or one shot anywhere where there might be excessive frizz or excessive damage. One shot is perfect for that curl that maybe doesn't have that perfect curl pattern. Whenever we're looking at curls care, we'll also start with our shampoo. We'll use our conditioner. We leave it 1 minute, and extreme tangles we're going to comb out in the shower and we'll rinse it out. We want to towel blot the hair or squeeze that extra water out. Don't rub dry. And I've heard using a t-shirt or something that's non-abrasive is going to be much better for squeezing that excess water out. Leave the hair wet to the touch. The Surface Curl Whip leave-in conditioner, you'll apply a golf ball amount to sections each side and back. So you're using a fair amount of the Curl Whip. Apply from the ends up as I shared with you when we did our curls bake, and then gently separate using your curls rake or your wide tooth comb as well. For maximum hydration and moisture for extremely coarse hair, after applying your curls whip, apply your curls serum to the driest areas or use your basu oil if you need to, if you have finer hair. That is a great option as well. So basu oil can be used on the finer hair type. To enhance or even out your curl pattern, use your curls whip and separating the curls, mist it with swirl. Swirl is a really great one for working with textured hair where you want to see that more beachier wave. The citric fruit acids help to cinch up the curl and give it a beautiful texture. You can strengthen weak hair using one shot as well. And again, when we start looking into cutting, we want to make sure we know and pay attention to the follicle shape. So again, straight is going to be that very round follicle. As it becomes wavy, it's more oval, curly, oblong, and then when we get into our spiral coiled hair, it's going to be very flat. We use our surface razor where we can use it. You can use it to taper the ends for more movement and definition. It's preferred for more medium to thick or curly, wavy, and straight hair, never used on kinky hair. And to be honest with you, it really doesn't have anything to do with the fact that it's bad for it. It would just leave the hair too soft. When we use our blade, let me see if I have this one's in here pretty tight. This is a flexible silicone guard. So as you can see when I bend it, it's very flexible and bendy. It has a silicone guard on it, so it's very conditioning. It helps to keep that hair in amazing condition while I'm cutting. So it would be okay. The problem is it leaves the hair way too fine on the ends if it's super coiled and kinky, and you need some weight to that curl in order to help show some substantial curl. The surface swivel cuts more of a structured edge, and it's perfect for walking your shear, which when we walk our shear, we're just taking and opening and closing it using our thumb only. This is going to be preferred for more fine to medium curly or wavy hair. Our surface TK comb that we use is dipped in tourmaline as well. It has smooth edges on it so that we're never causing any frizz. We're not scratching the scalp at all. It's perfect for controlling the hair, and you have your wider teeth on the one side, finer on the other. diamond polished, and it has that little pick on the end as well. So it makes it nice and easy. And then we have our cushion grip clips, which are great for working through any clip sets, that sort of thing, or for sectioning. So we have a great use of the tools. And the Surface TK2 rake that I just used helps to separate, pick it up, pick end is perfect for separation, and you're defining the hair as well. And it's nice and easy to be able to comb through. You have your new wide tooth comb as well, recycled materials, so that we're working, it's biodegradable. So I love that we have tools that are biodegradable. So when we're cutting curls, the base guidelines are this. You first want to visualize your guess curl pattern when the hair is dry. You'll get a good sense of where it lives, how it bends, how it moves. You always want to cut in the belly of the curl as an ideal length. So you're not going to catch every belly unless you're doing piece by piece, which you can too. But when you're working to that length, you're going to choose that right length and make sure that you're working within the belly of the curl. And I'll share with you a little bit more on that. As you can see, that lives right where that hair in the middle to the bottom of that bend. Use your larger teeth of the Surface TK2 comb to do your sectioning. Great for cutting when you want to use very minimal tension on the hair. Work with zero or minimum tension while cutting. So whenever we're cutting curly hair, we never want to pull that hair super tight and taut. And the reason for that is obviously it's going to bounce back up when we're done. So if I cut it with a lot of tension, it's going to bounce very unevenly. We use a vertical framing when we do our separation to reduce any weight and to define the curl. So you can really be able to follow the curl pattern using the surface tools. You can shatter layers for definition. So if that hair allows to use that razor, you can leave that very, very soft. This head shape is an example for your shattering effect. So more or less, if you're working with somebody who has medium or finer hair before it's no razor needed, you would do just a little bit of a shatter. If you have someone with really coarse curly hair that can really work with that deep shatter, your movement is going to be a lot more length to it. So with that, you guys, I'm going to take you into not a full haircut, but I just want to show you a couple of little tricks using your curly hair. So whenever I'm working with my curly hair guests, I'm always going to visualize where that curl lives. And I like to use the tip of the comb here so that I can kind of separate things and see where it lives. When we use it, I want to find the right length, and then I'll look for where that belly of the curl lives. Now, I like to use my cushion grip clips whenever I'm sectioning the hair. They're soft, they won't put any deep indents in the hair. And to do our target parting, if you're not familiar with our core cutting, I'm just taking the clip, laying my finger where I want that clip to land at, and I'm just getting it out of the way. Now, if you take a curls certification with us, you're going to go through several haircuts with us. You could learn the windswept or a front and center. You might learn a freedom. But you'll get your hands in on some curly hair. And we have one coming up at the end of June. I'll be teaching that one as well. So you can see I'm just kind of like looking at it. I think I spend more time looking at the curls than I actually do cutting them, partly because I want to make sure I'm seeing what I want and know where I want it to live. I always want to make sure these corners, this would be part of our red zone, which is an area where we want to be careful that we don't, if we don't over direct it, that's really going to pop up on the side. So I always make sure that I work with that. I also would be standing directly behind my guest when I'm working, and I'll really pay attention to where I'm cutting, and I'll work with that belly in mind. Now my scissor is honed at 45-degree angles on both sides of the blade, which allows me to tip my blade under or up depending on what I'm looking for. So a lot of times when I'm working with my curly hair, I'm going to go slow, and I'm also going to many times cut free-handed. And I'm also going to tip my blade under a bit so that I get a nice bevel under. When I'm working with a little bit of minimal tension, I'm just combing that hair very gently. I am working, I see where my guide is from my previous. I'm looking for that belly as well. When I do it, I'm going to let go of my fingers, and then I'm going to close them back just to help gain some control. Again, I like to take it slow, let go and re-grasp that hair, and then we're going to go and cut to that right. And then I can see where that hair is really living. So with that, there's just a lot about control and where you're cutting the hair in that curl, using minimal tension. And then from there, we want to make sure that we just keep an eye on it the whole time we're cutting it. The other thing is that you want to make sure this hair stays wet. So when I start seeing dry spots, I'll make sure that I address that as well. Now in the front here, if I want to do, say, some framing, sorry, a little bit of space in here. If I'm doing my framing, we're going to work vertically. So what I mean by that is my scissor is always going to be pointing down. I'm going to find that belly of the wave, and I always like to look for the eye, cheek, lip, jaw. Those are the areas typically where we're going to be working. And it's many times more about creating a shape than it is about creating layers, because it's more of a visual haircut than it is a perfect haircut or precision. You're looking for shape, you're looking for contour. Same thing here as I work into that front. If I was going to put a frame in, we're going to make sure that that frame is working on a vertical as well. And anywhere where I want to create any sort of framing, I also want to work with the contour of that wave. So as I shared, if you take our curls certification with us, you'll get your hands in on some cutting. We'll do a full haircut as well. So today I just wanted to share with you a little bit. Suzanne asked if I prefer cutting wet or dry curls. You know, I think it really depends. Many times I've actually cut most of my curls wet, but occasionally dry. Depends on, I think, what their curl pattern looks like. Sometimes it's going to be more deceiving once you cut dry and then going into wet. So it just depends on, I guess, the guest that's sitting in my chair. It also depends on what I'm going to be doing afterward. You know, you may have that consultation with your guest and they like to wear it straight all the time. So you may, if they're one who wears it straight all the time, then you're going to be washing it, drying it, and probably cutting it straight when it's dry. So just depending on each and every guest will be a little different. But I would say I cut more wet than dry. Cool. All right, guys. Well, let's get back to sharing my screen. And we're going to go ahead and go into some styling curls. So Frizz-Free Spray Gel is perfect on all curly hair types. You would begin curls styling defined or smooth with your mist. So with your Frizz-Free Spray Gel as well. I'm going to heat up my irons here. Get them ready for you. There we are. Hard to see upside down. Begin all curl styling defined or smooth with a mist of your frizz-free spray gel. So that's a perfect way to start. As I start to layer on, I'll work with my curl smoothing cream if I really want to collapse the weight in the hair, or I'll use my curl spray for thermal protecting, curl serum for defining wet or dry. When we want to define curls, let's use our firm mousse, curls spray gel, wet and dry, curls cream to wax, curls serum. Those are some really great options to work with. So product application, whenever we're working with our applications, we want to apply the same way we did whenever we used our curls bake. So we would apply from the ends up. So we have our curls frizz-free spray gel in here. We're going to go ahead and we're going to squeeze our curls mousse into the hair, working from the ends into the root area. And really start watching that definition happen. Now it's important whenever I start to work with my curly guests too that I always maintain consistent moisture, which means that if it's drying really fast in one area, then I need to make sure that I mist that down as well. So I'll use my frizz-free spray gel. Many times I'll use my repair tonic, protein cream. Those are some great ones to use during the styling process. Apply the styling product beginning at the ends of the hair, scrunching it up to the root area. Use your TK2 rake or your wide tooth comb to be able to separate and help to distribute the product as well. Lift at the base, keeping that simple. Some other products that you can choose here is Bliss Smoothing Cream. This would be a great option for someone with very fine hair. When you take a look at Curls Cream, what happens is that hair strand helps to make it smaller and helps smooth the outer layer. When we use Bliss, it helps to maintain the hair's natural volume or thickness, but then it just smooths the outer layer of it. Taffy Whip is another great option. This gives us that mushroom fiber that helps to leave springier curls. And if I want to add additional volume, I can always add Jump at the root area. This helps to give me that flexible crunch if I like more of a crispier set as well. Push powder, great for adding additional volume or root lift. And of course, you can use any of your blowout products too here. Taffy Wax Spray Wax is also going to be great for that final finish, giving that mushroom fiber to it, virtually humidity resistant as well. Whenever we are diffusing our curls, we can work with that curl going into about 80% dry before we start to diffuse by air drying. So you can see here, this is actually Wayne's wife, Deborah, and that's her practice is she'll let that air dry for a bit before she goes into her diffusing. And she diffuses the curls by tipping the head to the left and the right and the back. So instead of flipping the head upside down, which it can be a common practice, but when we flip that head back up, we're disturbing those curls. So instead, what we like is to be able to let the curl do all the work, dropping it into a fingered diffuser, working into the left, then into the other side, and then into the back. What you can also do, of course, then is you can work with clip setting to help lift it away from the root, which I'll show you in a second. Use minimal contact with your hands or fingers. Now, one of the things that is really important and some great options is if you are touching the hair at all, use Basu oil, curl serum, or even something like our Shine Wax that would provide additional moisture to your hands so that you're not taking away the moisture from the hair. Your hands are like big sponges, and every time I touch that hair, what's happening is I'm stealing moisture from the hair. So by working with something on my hands, I'm not only protecting the hair, but I'm helping to add additional moisture from the oils that I'm working with as well. Start with a high heat, low airflow so that you're not moving the hair around too much. When the hair is about 80% dry, switch to a cool air. That will keep it really from, it'll help to lock the curl into place. It will also help to really cool it down and let it set. When the hair is about 80% dry, gently lift and add your curls finishing spray as well for added texture, for some lift that will remain as well. And then diffuse it 100% dry and then work with your curls finishing spray. For more lift, you can use things like surface clips, and sometimes as I'm lifting these, I'll lift them up at the root as they're over directed and help to pick that up. If needed, you can use some smaller prong clips as well. So these work great too. I actually kind of like these guys that have a little bit of a flat set to them, so that you can lift that curl up while you're drying it. And you would just pick those up around the crown area to be able to give you that extra lift. Let me grab, there was either a comment or a question in the chat box. I want to grab that quick and see. That is, if I can find it. I don't know. I'll have to get back to it in a second because it isn't letting me see it. Use the technique to do a curls clip set as well. So this is a great idea whenever you're working with some of these drying techniques. You can loosely pin these and then do a 3-finger wrap, which means I'm just taking that hair and just wrapping it loosely around. That will help to loosen the curl a little bit. Some people do twisting techniques. There's a lot of great ways that we can work with it. Mist all of your curls with your finishing spray. You can place it under a dryer if you like. As you can see, hers were lightly twisted, set in big loops with the clips, and then done under the dryer until it was 100% dry. Using cream to wax on your fingertips prior to removing your clips is also going to help to protect that hair, detail the curls as well. So 10 things that you must do for curly hair. Healthy scalp, create curls shampoo gently cleanses the scalp while moisturizing the hair. You can towel blot and squeeze dry the hair. Don't ruffle it dry. Maintain root lift for curls immediately after styling. Mist the scalp with Trinity Dry Shampoo. If the scalp perspires, the Trinity Dry Shampoo will absorb the moisture, allowing for root lift. Second day and healthy scalp, again, perfect for Trinity Dry Shampoo. Keep your color lasting longer by working with curl serum twice a day, helping to protect it. For finer hair curls, use your Basu oil. For second day curls and keeping them frizz-free, work with your curls cream to wax, your curl serum, and curls hairspray. Curls haircut is a must, so get certified in our curls cutting and caring for curls so that you're trained to be able to work with control and no tension. Frizz-free styling, working with cream to wax or serum. Use your Surface TK2 rake or your large tooth comb. Remember, any friction causes frizz, so that's why all of our tools are dipped in TK2 as well to protect. Curl over curl when the hair is 100% dry. You can reinforce weak curls by misting curls hairspray and then working with it over a flat iron or over a curl, or you can even flat iron with that curl spray as well. Diffuse on low airflow and high heat, and when you are 80% dry, mist the hair with curls hairspray, switch to cool at the end, and always diffuse it 100% dry. And the number 10 things to do for curly hair is choose ammonia-free color for textured hair. And so when we work with our pure color, this is the perfect way to be able to work with finer hair textures or curly hair textures. They need that extra structural strength that is provided with the ammonia-free hair color. So it's gentle delivery of color as it's an ammonia-free, it's less swelling of the hair, gentle oxidization as it's ammonia-free, leaving the hair in better condition. We eliminate free radicals with enzyme cream activators so the hair is shiny, it's more conditioned, it's beautiful. Longer lasting color and bond building attachment during the coloring process, as there's amaranth protein that is already into the hair color itself. And so pure color and lightener is a perfect option for any guest with curly hair or even fine hair as well. I'm going to move past this. We do have some great information onto our Vimeo channel. You can learn all about our pure color if you would like to learn more about it, but it is an ammonia-free, gentle color. It's a hybrid, so it lives in between demi and permanent. So you get demi glossing and glazing, or you can use the lift and deposit when you change it to 20 or 30 volume. It's ammonia free, so we're creating less damage. We're creating a smaller oxidized space, and the color actually attaches to the hair's protein. When we lighten, same thing happens. We have to swell and oxidize the hair. So we're using a smaller oxidized space, giving us dimensional gray coverage. We're giving a PPD-free color and lightener as well, and bond building attachment from amaranth. We eliminate free radicals with our enzyme cream activators, and the color is then bonded to the structural protein. And when we lighten the hair, we're rebuilding proteins as we're lightening. So the hair, everything that you would normally add additives into your color and lightener is already in pure color and lightener. This helps to line fibers of the hair up, clear any free radicals from the hair, and essentially leaves the hair in amazing condition. Now, as I shared earlier with you, a curls certification is helping you to become the curls specialist in your salon, in your area. And we have one virtually for you on June 21st. It's from 10 to 2 Central Time. It's on Zoom. It's $125 for the class. You will be sent a mannequin head and a digital workbook so that you can work through the haircuts with us. And I hope to see you there. And you'll get a special certificate when it's all done. You take a